Hello everyone, let us get started with C++ certification training. So we are going to look at C++ profiler in this discussion. So the topics that we are going to cover are what is static and dynamic code analysis and C++ code profiling. So let's begin with what is static and dynamic code first of all. So static and dynamic analysis are two of the most important or popular code security tests. I mean, you have to do it at regular interval of time when you are implementing or working on your code. So static code analysis, what it is? Static code analysis is the process of detecting errors and defects in software source code. So when you start writing the piece of code that is the source code, static code analysis is your ability to find the errors in the code itself. Plus, static analysis can be viewed as an automated code review process. So you can make use of few tools available in market to do static code analysis. Then moving on, dynamic code analysis. Dynamic code analysis is the process of analyzing the application when it is running. So there are two things here, right? Once you write code, right? Now, when you write code, there'll be like hundreds and thousands of lines of code, right? So, I mean, you can of course do peer code reviews. For example, peer code review is a review process wherein you code and your colleague will do the code review, right? So you can find out some errors, some problems in the code which you can rectify. That comes under static code analysis. There are some tools commercially available in the market which you can make use of. Similarly, in the case of dynamic code analysis, when the program is running, right? So running means, let's say when the program is getting executed, how much memory it is taking, how much CPU utilization is happening, how much time a particular process is taking to complete execution, is any piece of your code causing memory leak. So this is a dynamic code analysis, right? So these are two different options to analyze your code to improve the performance of your coding. So there are some good profiling tools available in the market. You can try out any one of them. Following are some of good profiling tools. Valgrind is there, TAU is there, Tuning and Analysis Utilities is there, Google Perf Tools is there, Glowcode, Xperf, DevPartner, VTune, EQA, TEC is there. So these are some of the tools available in the market. Now, this is one of the tool about which I'm going to talk briefly, AQTime Pro. It's a commercial tool by SmartBear. So as you can see from the description here that it is memory and performance profiling tool for mission critical code. So basically it is a pretty nice and extensively used tool in the market. Though it is a commercial tool, but it has really good features and capabilities. So let us talk about some of these features and capabilities. So while using AQTime Pro, you have few features like you can choose the level of details that you want to do, or the level of details which you want to, I should say, figure out in terms of profiling. So you can do disable inlining, you can choose profiling, .NET runtime is option is available, right? You have option to choose elapsed time, then you can choose different kinds of threads, whether it is a Win32, CLR thread or COM thread, right? So these are some of the options which are available for you when you are making use of AQTime Pro. Then we have the ability to profile the source code you need, right? So I just mentioned earlier, a little while earlier, about profiling of the source code as well. So you can have you can enable profiling, disable profiling, get your result, clear result, and you can choose whether when you're entering or exit, how and when you want the profiling to be done. So these options are also available in AQTime Pro. Then we have find and monitor memory leak. So as you can see, memory is one of the important aspect of programming and coding. So you can get features like top 10 classes with maximum memory peak created result, top 10 classes with maximum live count result, right? So having this kind of information can help you identify details of memory and if there is any leak happening with respect to the memory, right? So these are also some options available to you. Then monitor memory allocation in real time. So real time meaning that when the program is actually running, that time you can keep monitoring. So you can find out even the class name, that this particular class is taking so much memory, or different class which you are using, right? So you have live count, live size is also available. So these options help you do proper memory tuning if it is required. And the best part of this is it is real time, that when the program is getting executed, during that time you can find out how each of the classes are using the memory that is available in your system. Then next is you can compare the various memory snapshots, right? So you can take the memory snapshot at any given point of time, compare the details with the previous run. So that will help you improve your performance as well. Then as you can see, we have different memory snapshot comparison ability available to you. So here you can also find out unused and untested code. So let's say there is a piece of code which is never executed in your program. You can identify that with the help of AQTime Pro, or if you have written some test cases which needs to be tested, or if it is not tested also, this particular tool can help you identify that piece of code. So as a good programming practice, all the code that you write needs to be tested by making use of some testing framework. So in case if a piece of code is not being tested, or if it is not being hit or not being used, you can identify all those details with the help of this particular tool. Then you can do selective coverage. For example, how and when you want to do this, you can choose that, whether you want to enable, disable profiling. So selective coverage is also possible. Then you can do convenient analysis of coverage data. So coverage data is a data wherein you can identify the coverage in terms of maybe use of a particular code, or testing coverage of a particular code. So you have convenient or other data is available for you from different runs, and you can do a proper analysis of that data so that you can take proper decisioning. Then you can compare coverage results. So as I told you that for different routines, you can have different lines of code, and you can compare it with different runs and do a proper coverage analysis also with the help of this particular tool. So to summarize this, at the end of this session, you should be able to understand what is static and dynamic code analysis. So to summarize this discussion, at the end of this session, you should be able to understand what is static and dynamic code analysis, and understand C++ code profiling tool, as I have explained to you with some of the features in the previous slides. So in summary, we have looked at what is static and dynamic code analysis, and looked at some of the C++ profiling tools. That's all in this discussion. Thank you so much for your time.